Let's get ready to fish. Hi, everybody. How is it going? Let me know if you can hear me all right. Oh, thank you, Atkins. Ian, buddy, good to see you. I appreciate the kind words. We got Fish Tropic in here. We got a bunch of numbers and then Hertz. How's everybody doing today? So today I've actually got a fish club meeting right after this stream that I got to go make down in the heart of Seattle, in the belly of the beast. But we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about a bunch of fish news, a bunch of articles from the world of science, speculation, art, intrigue, you name it. We'll be talking about fish, baby. So if you have any questions or any input, please let me know. Also, if you are a member, it's only $1.99. You can go to the community tab and you can download all the links to these articles, as well as I've done a little, either the title or a little summary. And that's at the top, and then the link's right below it. So we'll go down the line, just boom, 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 boom. I did not do my nails tonight. I actually undid my nails tonight. They were getting rather raggedy. I need to, get a new weave too. I think that's the right. I think those are words. How's everybody doing? Fishing Tank Dicks, Jerome, Dragon Lair, Melissa, Andrew, Azuravian 2. Good to see you also. I have one of these weighted blankets that I've been using. It's felt good on my back. I'm doing good today. I have, I've had nagging sciatica pain. I can't feel half my foot, and then my back's in a lot of pain and stuff. But, that's neither here nor there. Just letting you know that it has been kind of dragging on me, dragon layer on me, if you will. No new haircut. Just have my hair tied up in a little, in a man bun, one of those. So, but today we're going to cover basically fish news that is related to, some of it's really cool. Some of it's neat. Some of it's exciting new stuff. Unfortunately, some of it is pretty bummer. Just because, there's some sad news in the world of freshwater fish right now, honestly. So they're under attack. It's a trap. Allison, hello. W. Marion, hello. I have candy corn. That's always good. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate that. Let's hop into the first topic. Hey, do I watch Crime Pays channel? Yeah, and his recent video with Alan Rockefeller, the fungi expert. He's actually a psychoactive mushroom expert. And I know him from years of talking on forums, and Alan Rockefeller was kind of like a mentor or role model, I guess you could say, to me on those forums. He really helped a lot of people in the Northwest, and then in the last 10 years in Mexico, talking all about the funky fungi, the funky fungi, and he's an expert in it. He's probably the world's foremost expert now in that group of them. But it was kind of cool. I saw him on that episode, and Joey, aka Tony, he covered it really well, and I enjoyed it. And there's also another, right now there happens to be a show on Netflix on fungi that's pretty good. And we're going into fungi season here in the Northwest. So I will probably do a couple nature walks related to fungi, mushrooms, mold, slime mold. Do that. I like to do the urban fungi foraging. So stay tuned for that. Also, as always, I am sponsored by you all, so thank you so much for it. I needed to do an ad for how awesome you guys all are. Just wanted to let you guys know that I appreciate it very, very much, you guys. So thank you for being you, so I can be me, and we can all be we. So Richard, what's going on? Filigree, what's going on? I've noticed we were at a high of like hundreds of people, 150, 200. Now we're scraping, we're bumping on the bottom. So if you're here and you enjoy it, I'd love it if you could hit that like button. I feel like don't share unless it's you really feel passionate about an episode or something. Yeah, I'm not gonna guilt trip you to share. That's a little much. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's that fish guy. But yeah, oh nice. Been collecting chanterelles down south already. I wish I were too. I wish I were too. There's apparently some chanterelles up in the mountains already, where it's rained a little heavier, but not here yet. But soon there'll be some. The temperature's getting there, which actually ended my tubbing season early, so we'll see. But tonight is our first. Hello, Lady Diane. You're driving, well, be careful. Just if you're going to listen, that's great. Welcome aboard. Please don't waste any time or your safety to look at my ugly mug. All right. So I was going to say tonight is the first meeting we have at my actual fish club, the Greater Seattle Area Aquarium Society. And we have an auction. I'm auctioning some killifish, some malawa, shrimp, I think 10 or 12 of each of those, and the nebula, gold nebula, caridina, the paradente. Oh, so hard to say. And we are hopefully, hopefully we'll get some new critters, some new plants, something interesting, maybe a new fish tank. I have a dream, I have a vision, and hey, Misfits, Reptiles, and Aquatics, how are you doing? Screaming Fly Productions, what's going on? Backroom Aquarius, good to see you guys. Good to see all the regulars. I hope y'all are doing well. Same with Richard, too. So, the other thing I was going to let everybody know is that I have a guest coming on who is very well versed in piranhas. So we'll have him on soon. Hopefully after the plant contest. That's the next thing I wanted to get to. Ooh, look, a black light, a UV light. The black light UV light party starts now. Okay, all right. So we have our final aquarium aquascaping deadline tomorrow. So get that in by midnight tomorrow. And I hope everybody is having fun with that, learning what immersed plants look like, what you want in the future, what you don't want in the future. And I hope we can all learn from each other. So it should be fun. And kind of this next week, I think, so a lot of the episodes will be taken up by kind of a home show of sharing the aquascapes that came in, as well as then we'll do the judging, and then we will also do some kind of critiquing and discussing and stuff we like, stuff, if you want stuff that could be done better, but, or all other ways, not to say it's a right or a wrong way. So we'll have all that kind of lined up. Probably at least the next 3 live streams will be like that, but I'll try to get some history and, also, I think maybe I'll start posting the tannin videos that I made soon. So we'll see. Kind of get some other stuff in there in the mix. And then after that, we'll have Frank. And then also Ivan Mikoji is going to come back on so we can talk about his funky, fun adventures into the heart of darkness or the liver of darkness. I don't know what to call it since it's in South America. Let's call it the liver of darkness. But yeah, so tonight I better hop in so that I don't take too long and then run into the time I need to drive down and get to the meeting. So let's start. If you're going to follow along, we'll go in the order that I posted the articles in the members section under the community tab. But let's pop that on the screen. Lovely. Okay. So, first article. Photos. Ancient woman buried with handmade fish hooks. Now, these are cool. These would be cool if they were Hawaiian or Polynesian and you were just a tourist and checking them out, made out of abalone, which can get real sharp. The way that it's deposited, it's kind of like obsidian. It flakes off like flint. Well, the interesting thing about these, which were found on a little Indonesian island, if I recall, we'll double check that, is that they are 11,500 years old. And these are handmade, fashioned out of seashells, unearthed on an Indonesian island of Alor or Alor. It's the oldest fish hook find on record in a human burial. Now, they did find a net that was about 38,000 years old, or rather knots tied to weights, stone weights that were circular, that were part of a net they gather by logic, deduction. It's elementary, my dear Watson. So the discovery suggests that the woman participated in fishing activities thousands of years ago. It also shows the culture likely valued fishing hooks, and they viewed them as essential for the transition into the afterlife, said the study research leader Sue O'Connor, professor of School of Culture, History and Language at the Australian National University. That's a mouthful. It's like she named my channel for me or something. But here is the island, and I like that the burial site begins with Tron Bon Lay. So archaeologists found the burial of the ancient woman in a rock shelter, aka cave. And the skull, likely that of an adult woman, definitely under some sediment. So other stuff had used the cave for a long time. Look how lush this island is. I mean, it's Indonesia, so I guess that makes sense. So this is this rock shelter, and these are great spots to look, even in the Americas. If you're ever looking for arrowheads or anything like that, which you're not supposed to take, so don't do that. But if you're looking to find them and look at them and then leave them there, I've found all sorts of spearheads and arrowheads. Usually all the mess ups, the screw ups, will be right next to these big cliffs, especially if there's a valley or a little connecting area. Like if this was a slot canyon or a pass through the mountains, and there were stone deposits all over through here, or maybe bands of them up on the hill. Usually if you can find an ancient tree or a big rock that would give some shade for part of the day, right there, if you dig, a foot to 3 feet in the Americas, probably a lot farther down in other parts of the world. And this goes back to my archaeology degree, a little trick that I happened to pick up. But that's usually where we would dig our test pits. And that's probably what this is here, is a test pit. And then they found something, which was good luck, very good luck. They started digging in 2016. Says the white arrow points to the rock shelter. A photo at the pit taken from the southern edge of the rock shelter. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. But these are their fishing hooks. And so I'm kind of curious to see how these would have worked. I mean, I feel like the fish could bite through it. I mean, or over it, and just swallow it or something. But I've seen the spiral ones, and I've seen the ones that almost look like an ampersand or maybe a bass treble or a treble clef type. What's it called? Treble clef, maybe. And these that one's pretty open, but some of these are downright closed. So I'm kind of wondering if these are more ceremonial. That one's downright sharp. But the cool thing about these was that the way they were very smart. Now, this was technology that evolved later. This is just a little archaeology tidbit, facts and fun finds from Alex. So when they use shell, or here it looks like they use some sort of quartzite or something, perhaps, you can see that there's like a translucent tone to it. But there's also calcification, so it could just be a shell. But in any case, they like using stuff that is deposited in layers, whether that's sand or siltstone or chert or obsidian, but that lets them basically carry around this rock, and whenever you need something to scrape a hide or cut a fish, gut a fish, you literally just take another rock or an antler. Usually you take hide and put it over your thigh so you don't get cut, because these little shards get sharp. And you look away after you line up your shot, and you just hit it with the butt of the horn, the base of the horn. And they just would carry a little horn from other critters. Now here are some J-fish shaped fish hooks, which is more traditional. No eyelet though, so interesting to show that there is no eyelet there. But they did pierce shells, so then it's like, okay, what are these about? Were these flashers? Were they just jewelry? Who knows? So I just thought that was a fun little story. So let's see here. I'll hop back to y'all. Did they tie in the middle? You know, I'm not sure how they did these ones, honestly, because this is not a typical fishing hook. I've seen a lot of earrings made this way, but not a lot of fishing hooks. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, they would make for a great septum piercing ring. Yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm guessing that they probably would lash them somewhere in the middle, and then maybe, well, it might even be able to be kind of like a hook that you can bite on either side from. But the fact that it doesn't have a barb on it is interesting. So there may be a very specific fish that this is for catching, that feeds a certain way, or they may have had multiple of these hooks. Or they could have just been wanting to use the core of a stone, and it was when you flint knap, because I had to do this for my thesis, and just to finish from my cultural anthropology to get into archaeology program. Flint knapping, but a lot of times when you strike, you get a percussive dome, concave or convex, and you hit it, and the side that you hit with the antler or another stone, and you can use different materials. So if you want it to shatter and just knock a big old dome, a circular dome off the backside, you just blast it with something that's hard, but you risk breaking it. So you can use something softer but dense, like deer antlers, the part that's on the head, the kind of little nubbin part, and you hold on to it and you smack it, and they've smoothed it out, obviously. And they also have, they'll use the same antler in all cultures around the world. Antlers are pretty, horns, antlers are pretty much the thing they use. Sometimes hooves, but they will also then take the tip and they will work it. So they'll take the tip and they'll use it either as a chisel, or they'll just keep pressure on it, and then they'll tap the actual stone again, and it busts out these little flakes that are, they look kind of like Necco wafers, or like a little, I mean, they're like, it depends on how hard you hit it and how big the thing is and the grain and all that, but you learn to read these stones. And so the technology goes back over 1 million years that primates and humans and hominids have been working with stone and shaping it. But like the Neanderthals they're finding, they would take stone and they would whittle down stone from these big stones. So they'd find the characteristics they needed in a stone, and they would plan out, like, this half we can use for one thing, this piece we'll use for another, and they would read the whole stone. Like obsidian was always prized because it's translucent, so you can see through it, yet it's workable, and it's sharp all the way down to a micron, a single micron, a single nanometer. So you can actually cut. They've done literal open heart surgery with it, and they use it as the blade on modern scalpels, even because they can't get metal to hold an edge that sharp. Now it's very brittle, but it's very sharp. So they'll lay that in, and it will just be the part that splits the skin for maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch at max, and it'll hold an edge easily that small, but it won't hold an edge, you know, 1/2 an inch long. You're gonna bust off that blade if that's the case. What if they put those through sections of a net? Yeah, I mean, Rachel, they definitely could have. Yeah, if they tie it in the middle, the whole thing acts as a barb. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'll have to do a little more research just to tell you guys for sure how these were used. I just don't know that specific culture, but the fact that they have these other fish hooks that are much more normal to what we are used to seeing, they would lash around this piece up here. It could be that they were taking these and mounting them on wood. I've seen that too, when they want them to float or to kind of hang sideways mid-water. What they would do is they would take a stone piece and they'd make that sharp, and they'd oftentimes also try to put a barb on it, but the barb is really hard to do. It's hard to get another piece that's that delicate, because when you strike it, you end up breaking, when you're trying to shape that little barb, you end up breaking the piece in between them, connecting it, the fork in the material. But when you've got this shape, you can basically start with a round rock, bust it in half, then take that shape and continuously bust it by smacking it in the center and slightly changing where you're working. So you're kind of off center, I guess. So you'd work your way around like this. If this were a whole circle, if this were a whole circle here, you'd work your way around this. So you'd hit inward here, inward here, inward here, inward here, inward here, and you'd flip it around and do the same until you got this shape where you've got a kind of blade or taper on both sides to puncture the fish's mouth. It'd be so here's 1 centimeter. So these are good sized fish that they're trying to catch with these. It'd be interesting to try some of this ourselves if anybody wants to go fishing. So, all right, moving on to the next article. All right, so we've got can common aquatic plants remove chickens and cows from the food supply? All right, so let me see here. How can we? This is going to be annoying. So I'm going to try to share screen, but it keeps booting me whenever I try to share the screen. It's annoying to have to go back and forth. But I guess, yeah, okay. All right, so this is just kind of interesting. September 3rd, 2021, Plantable Foods, Plantable, I guess that's the company name, and they're a food company, which produces protein from duckweed, has secured closing of a $21.5 million Series A funding round. So the first venture capitalist round, and here's a bunch of duckweed, and people are floating on it. Great. But it says Plantable Foods has now raised over $27 million with other participants in the latest rounds, including okay, so that doesn't matter. This is all business news. But the interesting part about this is that duckweed is over 50% protein. So it says Plantable is not competing with other plant proteins. Our goal is to remove chickens and cows from the food supply system. We are cultivating a new plant to change the broken food supply chain and that was exposed during the pandemic. Currently available plant proteins don't pull their weight when it comes to competing with animal-based products on taste or nutrition. By combining plant science, biochemistry, engineering, we're able to create a drop-in replacement for these widely used animal-derived proteins without forcing consumers to sacrifice either taste or nutrition. It's kind of like that Beyond Meat thing. I don't know if you guys have tried that. I'm not vegan or vegetarian or anything, but I have to say that thing tastes pretty good, which makes me worry quite a bit about what's in it. I think it's mostly onions and garlic, and like yeast, but still, it's a little spooky. Over the past year, the company has scaled its production capacity to 150 times by building out smaller pilot plants and hired 11 more people, bringing the total team to 16. So they've got $27 million for 16-person team. That's pretty good for their thing. But from camping on the farm to the speed at which they have met each milestone since the last funding round, we continuously are impressed. Blah, 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 blah. All right, the plant-based protein derived from the crops have an annual crop cycle, therefore are vulnerable to climate change. Other crops are, that is. Grow in a controlled environment. Lemna doubles in mass every 48 hours. That's why you can never get rid of the friggin' duckweed. Every 2 days, it doubles in mass. So if you got 2, you get 4. If you have 5,000, you have 10,000. You see the problem. Very quickly, things get out of hand. Enabling a consistent daily harvest throughout the year. Additionally, lemna is considered one of the most protein-efficient crops in the world, yielding 10 times more protein per acre than soy, while requiring 10 times less water, even though it grows in water. It can be shallow water. But basically, it also purifies the water and oxygenates the water, and they're basically looking at it as a new food source, at least to give us our macro, the things we need, the things we crave. It's got what plants crave. It's got what people crave. So fun times. Now, I'm kind of, I might miss some of your comments here because I'm just going to be reading. But yeah, can you imagine what, yeah, totally. Imagine getting $27 million with your only goal being to grow duckweed. I mean, maybe give them $27 million to get rid of the duckweed at that facility. If they could show us that, that would be impressive. Heaton Aquatics, hello, welcome. Jose Gonzalez, hello. Rising Sun Aquatics, hello. Fish Streams, Tom Shepard, good to see y'all. So, Lydia, hello. Gabriel, hello. Need a female Scarlet Batis? Of course you do. Everyone does. That's rough. I had an albino, and she just passed away. She didn't live very long. She was not a healthy fish from the beginning. Let me open this next tab and pop over the StreamYard coverage. Share. I guess we gotta get share screen, share tab, and we go to boom. All right. So Amazon quote unquote river monster turns up dead in Florida. Arapaima, one of the world's largest freshwater fish. Arapaima is one of the world's largest freshwater fish. These things get 5 or 6 feet long. The rotting body of a dead Amazonian river monster recently washed ashore in Florida, raising concerns about whether the gigantic predatory fish has joined the Sunshine State's ever-growing list of invasive species. Although it might seem like they would thrive in Florida's warm waters, the fish are known as arapaima, a sizable creature that can grow to 10 feet. My bad. I said 6 long and 440 pounds, 200 kilos in weight. Man, the odds are stacked against it, though, at least for now. Solomon David, an aquatic ecologist at Nichols State University in Louisiana, who wasn't involved in this recent arapaima sighting, says that that's because the fish have odd quirks. Breeding only in specific areas, they spend valuable time and energy caring for their young and don't reach sexual maturity until they're about 5 feet, freaking 5 feet, 1.5 meters long, and at least 3 to 5 years old. It would take many individuals of a substantive size and sustained population in the Florida waterways to do that. So far, we just have the one large dead one. That's not true. I've actually, when I was down there, they had a couple that they'd found. I don't think they were breeding in the water, but they'd found some outside of Miami in the Everglade borderlands. Side note, I wrote Dr. Pepper, and I got the biggest runaround ever. I just was like, Hey, I have an idea, because here's my my brilliant idea, guys. So I said, Dr. Pepper, why don't you guys sponsor me? I'll continue to drink them, and why don't you guys pay for a CO2 tank in another aquarium? And then you guys will be the fizziness in my water. And, this ongoing joke, I just wanted to take it way too far, to the point where it's been beaten like a dead horse. And, I thought, well, maybe they do that. I don't know. Maybe they'd pay for a little regulator and a diffuser. And what I want to do is I want to do an aquascape with black obsidian, or at least dark, maybe basalt, and then black sand, maybe white sand. I think black sand probably. And then I want to do plants that are all dark, like red, purple, maybe a little bit of some with hues of orange and stuff. But I want it to be like, black and red and orange and purple, dark green, and then some metallic colors like you see on a dark boost. So we'll see. I tried to write them, though. If anybody has any contacts at Dr. Pepper, or is good at saying, yo, do this thing, I'd appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh, look at the little baby arapaimas. They're so cute. All right. So arapaimas evolve the ability to breathe out of water. They're like a labyrinth fish. They don't have lungs, but rather specialized tissue in their swim bladder that processes oxygen. So what's kind of interesting is that all of these fish that breathe air, they all have different strategies. Corridors can gulp air. They don't have lungs or a labyrinth organ or special whatever tissue. Their lower intestines actually just absorb the oxygen in that they basically fart, and it uses it before that happens. And they gulp it down and just swallow it down their whole system. Other fish have an elaborate organ. Some use like an osmosis of taking a salty brine mix within a little specialized organ. I can't remember the name of it. And they're able to drink water that way. And also some of them will extract the oxygen out of water molecules at a really slow rate, but it's enough that it keeps them hydrated. So there's some really interesting organs and then tactics that have evolved, but a lot of them are just that their stomach lining absorbs gas rather than holding it like a human's does, and then we need to get rid of it in so many comical ways, for middle schoolers. Well, they have a body that just says, okay, I'll use that instead of breathing. So they like breathe their own farts or burps or hiccups, kind of. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, they also have little nests, and they guard their young for a long time. So it's probably unlikely that they'll establish that easily. Someone would probably need to introduce some adults or a pair, and they would need to kind of be on their own, get their numbers up, and then kind of burst out of that area. Now, that's definitely not impossible or even that unlikely, but it's a challenge. So, yeah. But it says that they're really easy to spot because they have to surface and breathe air. So they don't even have gills that work. They have to surface and breathe air every 5 to 15 minutes, depending on their body mass, which that's fascinating. I didn't know that about them. I didn't know that they didn't have gills that were effective at it, but they do live in really shallow, muddy ponds where sometimes their back is even like up out of the water in the dry season, and so forth. So kind of cool. I just wanted to share that little tidy tidbit with y'all. Fart fish. Let's see here. All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't pull that off the screen either. I think I have a picture, Ian, of the albino batis that I can post, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know where it is. I mean, like where on my phone it is. And we're on the computer station. We're at the battle stations right now doing this. But yeah, all right. So next story. The next story. Okay. Freshwater fish the world over are facing a desperate struggle to survive, but the aquarium hobby can help. Now, this to me was a bummer, obviously, but it was also inspiring in that this was Practical Fish Keeping magazine. Hold on, let me get the article up again. But like in California, I mean, there's parts of the country where up to 85% of freshwater fish are endangered. In late February, 15 of the leading conservation organizations released an urgent report outlining the critical extent of the threats and challenges facing freshwater fish species around the world. The World's Forgotten Fish went into great detail about how the dazzling diversity of freshwater fish prop up the livelihood of millions of people globally. 900 million people eat freshwater fish as their primary protein. Now, that's not in this article. I just saw that last night when I was researching more related stuff to this. But 900 million. And right now, the fish are getting smaller. The nutrients are getting worse because the healthiest big fish are getting caught and their genes aren't represented in the gene pool normally anymore. They have to be a bit skittish, or they have to be fast enough to outrun whatever it is they use to fish in that area. But in some regions, they're also fishing with dynamite, with poison, with, all sorts of things, electric shocks, with car batteries. And it's just insane. It kills everything in the pond, or nearly will. But if it's for food, they just figure that it's worth it, and then they'll dig through what they find. But basically, this article goes into kind of the extent of the decline. But what's more important is that 1 in 3, let that sink in for a moment, 1 in 3. So 33% of the 18,075 known freshwater fish species are threatened. Are threatened at being lost forever. Over 6,000 due to human activity specifically. So that's overfishing, that's dams, that's habitat destruction, unnatural river flows, barriers such as dams, weirs, traps, pollution, whether that's corporate pollution or small town, just like washing your car with soap or using phosphates and laundry detergents in developing nations, water abstraction, overfishing, wildlife crime like mining, and invasive species of other fish that are wiping out endemic species that have been places for millions of years, and now this new species comes in, boom, just kills everything. And they're saying climate change. So, I mean, in general, climate, whether it's hot or cold or more rain or less rain, it's going to be different in every location. But change in general just is going to lead to that. But the role of the hobby, fortunately, it is not lost. Indeed, there are plenty of reasons to be positive. The aquarium hobby is a major ally of the fight to halt extinction, to recover populations of freshwater fish. It may not come as a shock to readers of Practical Fish Keeping to hear that fish are far and away the world's most popular pet, at least numerically. According to the U.S. National Pet Owners Survey, the U.S. alone says that there are 142 million freshwater fish kept as pets, compared with only 88 million cats and 74, well, almost 75 million dogs. Ornamental Aquatic Trade Association predicts that 4 million UK households own fish, and that around 14% of the population, and combined they spend 400 to 500 million pounds each year on the hobby. Globally, some 5,300 species are in the ornamental fish trade in 125 countries, and are at a value of $15 to $30 billion worldwide. A hobby at this level, investment from passionate individuals and organizations which generate this much money, has a huge amount to offer in terms of knowledge, expertise, willingness, and of course, financing. Many aquarists breed species at home that are threatened in the wild, effectively propping up backup populations of the species. Take the butterfly split fin goodyead, America splendens, for example, an aquarium species that has been listed as critically endangered on the ICUN red list, but preserved by aquarium hobbyists. I mean, the same thing with the Denison barb. It's endangered in the wild. Guppies, they're endangered in the wild. I mean, it's insane what all is threatened in the wild. Endlers, too. They may be gone completely very soon. But with this combined effort of hobbyist breeding, we could one day release them back into the wild. Conservation also has a huge amount to learn from these creatures, as hobbyists are typically the experts in understanding breeding behaviors. Collaborations between the two camps, that's science and the hobby, give these species the best chance of survival. Mike Baltzer. The truth is that fish are going extinct due in part to our negligence, but a true home for the love and care of fishes and their habitats can be found within the home aquaria. The hobby represents a vast potential that, if engaged correctly and directly, will the help of shoal can save many species. Freshwater habitats from being lost forever. I mean, when you know it, when you see it, when you love it, there's a better chance that you're going to support preserving its habitats. When you see things locally in politics, when you decide to go do ecotourism, when you do a guided tour. I also wanted to say that aquaticarts.com had some goodyeads bred in the U.S. They may have even had the split fin. I can't remember. Let me pull that up real quick. But Aquatic Arts, if you want to buy anything from them, as always, you get the discount through me. Link is in the doobly-doo down below in the description. And basically you get 15% off, and then you get 10% off if you've already used that code. If you've already gotten the 15% off in the last 2 or 3 months. But if you haven't, if you're a first-time buyer, you get 15% off. If you're a return buyer within that period, you'll get 10% off. But everybody will get entered into more giveaways and things like that we do on my channel. Let's see here. Freshwater fish. I was going to share this, but we'll have to do it this way. Hold on. I have an idea. Mamma mia. So, ta-da. All right. So Aquatic Arts, freshwater fish. They had some pretty cool stuff in here right now. I mean, we've got a lot of endlers, some good ones here. And the penguin testers always love these blue belly gobies, all these, the furcata, pseudomcgill, and the Gertrudis, blue spotted, the bumblebee tuna, all the Siphodons, very cool. But where was it? Oh, they've also got, look at this orange Alenquer Tiger Pleco, only 89 bucks. Those were 150 bucks at the pet store the other day. These leopard frogs are 169 at the pet store right now. I saw one shop, where was it? The fish store in Lake City, Washington, Seattle area, just like a subsection of Seattle. They were, I want to say, the cheapest I've seen them. Hello, honey. I have these and I love these, but they've got them for 62. They were on sale earlier, I think you guys remember. But this line has some of the best color of any line of adults that I've seen. But I was looking specific. Oh man, I want these so bad. These horsemen, Corys. Ooh. And speak of the devil, I mean, look at these long fin. They're true Julii. They're not the goofy Trilineatus. No, no, no. Also, the orange laser Corys. I mean, it's like money growing on trees when you own them. Let's see here. If you breed them. Okay, here's the good fin. The good golden Scyphia split fin Goodyead. I don't know if that's the same fish as the article was referencing, but I thought it was something similar. These are a cool live bear, and they're from Central and South America. Very, very cool. Looks like they still have some pairs and stuff too. Wow, they've got a lot of fish right now. Oh, and they've got the red tail split fin. I mean, so these are things that people are breeding and saving from extinction. Now, right now in the picture, there's no red on the fin, but it's probably a mating thing or spawning thing, basically. So, wah, 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 wah. I thought they had one more. Just take a look for a second, then we'll give up. Ooh, they've got the fire eel. Man, those things can get pretty big. Let's see here. And then, oh, they have panda loaches. They're expensive, though. Let's see, how much are they? I love panda loaches. I love my panda loaches. 20 bucks. Yeah, that's what they are at the local store right now, too. Man, they've gone up. I mean, everything has lately, but that's rough. That's a rough increase. I thought they had one more goodie. Oh, they have Dalmatian marble ghost knife fish too, which is great. They have more of the red, neon blue eye rainbow fish, pseudomagills. More of the orange Venezuelans, black Venezuelans, red Venezuelans. Oh, they have the black ghost knife fish. So I just bought one of these guys. And I think I'm going to name him Buck knife fish. But he looks just like that with the little weird, almost blind looking eye. But we'll do an episode on him soon. But in any case, we'll get out of this now and back to the articles. Let me just take a look at chat, make sure we're moving along. Hey, Alexander Engelhardt. Good to see you, buddy. Always good to see you. New member, and I appreciate that greatly. Everybody, if you like seeing me 4 times a week, feel free to join the membership. I'm here for you. And I try to answer questions as quickly as I can. So it's like having your very own know-it-all. And say expert. Let's go with know-it-all. At your fingertips. All right. So I'm going to go over these, and members, you've got links to these, but I basically want to just touch on these articles. And if there's anything cool to show you, I'll let you know. But I want to just touch on these articles because they're all kind of similar and they're all kind of bummers. So that is a bummer. But it says that this next article says mountaintop mining, so strip mining where they take the whole top off, like in the Virginia, and you know, in Argentina and Chile, it's very popular. In Utah, it's popular. Montana, Helena, oh, it's Billings. It's ugly. Strip mining, basically. It says even though, you know, that's not in the streams themselves, but within that region of it occurring, 40% loss of aquatic biodiversity in fresh water. The other thing that was interesting in this article was it said that environmental scan of DNA turns up 100, or sorry guys, I should learn to read, 10,000 species living in freshwater streams. This is from Duke University. Using environmental DNA, eDNA, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, scans of the Appalachian streams, researchers found that the effects of mountain coal mining in West Virginia are most widespread, are more widespread than previously reported. Streams from heavily mined watersheds harbor only 40% fewer species than the cleaner water. And let me pull this up real quick. Mountaintop mining. Yeah, so they're specifically talking about Virginia, coal mining and stuff like that. Let me, oh, you guys are not in the loop. You guys can't see what I can see. Can you see what I see? Bum, 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 bum. No, you cannot see it. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see here. Share screen. Sorry, guys, this takes a second each time, and it's a pain in my butt. All right. Da-da-da. There we go. All right, we're back on track. I'm back in the saddle again. All right, so marine protected area status can boost fish populations by almost 400%. Researchers monitoring the impact of Lime Bay Marine Protected Area, MPA. Why is that MPA? They just said Lime Bay Marine. Okay, whatever. It was designated in 2008, and researchers now found that there are 370% more fish there than in similar areas outside of that protected marine MPA. Oh, marine protected area. Got it. Let's see here. So that's more marine stuff, but it's just interesting to me to show how much things have bounced back, especially when you preserve like eelgrass and kelp forests. They've really found that that can be just monumentally helpful to the critters that live there. I mean, because you wipe out the whole ecosystem when you get rid of those. It's like cutting down their forest. So this one here, is this it? Let me see. Okay, we saw that one. So we've got this one now. Now, there were a whole bunch of articles talking about just how bad the fate of fish are right now, freshwater fish. It's so sad. I mean, there are 85% of the freshwater species in California are threatened or vulnerable. So heartbreaking to me. It really is. But you guys can go to these links and read up more. And I'm sorry if I'm missing any of your questions. Hey, Kenny, what's going on? Good to see you. Zen Ginger, what's going on? Xanadudu. We got all sorts of great gals and guys in here. That's not a knife fish. All right, let's get going. Get going on Pompeii Ranch. Hello. Screaming fly. Hey, I'm a fly. All right. Rest in peace, smooth handfish. Now watch this freaky guy. So I'm sad he's gone. He's got a freaking mohawk. He looks like a Kool-Aid man that had an accident. That Kool-Aid man has been in an accident. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little fingers. Because fish should have fingers. But these guys used to be common. They used to be common in between Tasmania and Australia, and they occurred in some brackish water too. First found in 1802. They used to be all over the place. Now they are reportedly gone forever. So that's just a super bummer that these little weirdo fish that probably could have taught us a whole lot about evolution are gone. And I don't know. We don't know what we're missing. That's the bottom line. So the next few articles, we're not going to go into heavily because I think we could actually talk about these as in like, we could talk about these for a long time. But Oregon State University also found, or was it University of Oregon? Oh, no, it was University of California, but they did the study in Oregon. They basically found, oh no, it was Oregon. I don't know. I'm all over the place, guys. You're gonna need to help me. I'm mentally unstable. Keep your elbows off the table. So we need better buffer zones, agricultural pollution. So boom, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae growth is all up in everyone's business because of farms, because of spraying crops with phosphates, nitrates. What do they use? Monoglucophosphate. And then there's not monosodium glutamate. That's MSG. But they use a couple different approved fertilizers, and they spray them by plane, and the particles, one, yeah, they drift. Two, pilots can be off. But three, when it rains, it gets into the groundwater. It doesn't break down right away. It washes out. And so they're saying that basically we need to pretty much double the distance that we allow from using heavy duty, fertilizers and like the GMO crops. I'm not saying I have a problem with GMO crops necessarily on the face of it, but some only grow when you add Bob's bag of fertilizer A. The seeds will only hatch. Seed A will only hatch with that. And soon people become reliant on it because it's the cheapest gig in town. Monsanto's very famous for this. And then all of a sudden, boom, it gets yanked out from under them. And they literally can't even get seeds from their own crop, which they bought and own, to replant because they need that initiator protein or enzyme or whatever it may be to unlock that seed. It's a real nasty little thing they do. Granted, they did make golden rice, which packs all sorts of nutrients and things in there. And people would have starved to death. Whole millions, maybe even 1 billion at this point. I read a while back. People would be dead if it weren't for golden rice, the invention of it. But so speaking of preservation of them and the fact that 85% of native Californian fish are in trouble, we have something that also shapes how we look at things, how we classify things. And this, I'm not going to get into it heavily right now because I know it's a hot button topic. And so I kind of want to save it for maybe like a debate with somebody who disagrees with me or whatnot. But we've got two subjects that are most controversial that I saved for last, essentially. And what those are this one. Cultural bias impacts native fish too. Study calls for an end to quote unquote rough fish pejorative and the paradigm that created it. So we call fish that are not game fish, like sticklebacks, like pumpkin seed fish. Oftentimes we call them rough fish. And that's because Europeans came over from Europe and they liked salmon, they liked cod, they liked X, Y, and Z. Whereas the natives would eat pretty much anything in the water, including the lampreys, the eels, you know, the frogs, the insects, all sorts of stuff they would eat. And because the colonists looked down on that, it's shaped. And so he went back, and this is a professor at University of California, Davis, USC Davis, was talking about how, you know, all these ideals of beauty and ideals of you need to have cod liver oil every day and X, Y, and Z. You need to take vitamin C and a little bit of mercury or whatever they thought back then. They totally discounted a lot of fish. And so they called a lot of fish, like hagfish, lampreys, things like that, they called them trash fish. And so as bycatch, when they were in nets or caught in trawling lines that are 2 miles wide in the ocean and they're just pulling it all in, and they get dolphins and all sorts of other stuff, they say, oh, whatever, that's trash fish. We'll feed it to the dogs, or we'll just dump it back in the ocean. So same thing's true of freshwater. And it's basically just saying, let's reevaluate some of the terms. So for instance, the alligator gar, which is an ancient species, can grow more than 8 feet long and weigh 300 pounds. It was particularly persecuted in the past century, called a wolf among fishes. And the local fisheries people and I guess just towns, municipalities, and things in the South, they would use dynamite, electrocution, and poisoning, rat poison, to kill these gar. And now these gar are seen as some of these beautiful, not completely gentle, but beautiful, calm, majestic, giant fish of fresh water. And we're trying to save them. They've been dying at a very fast clip. But the fact that we called them a wolf among fish, I mean, it put it into people's minds, this negative connotation. So it's up to you to decide how woo-woo or wishy-washy you think that this study is. But I do think it's food for thought that, like, trout, bass, and salmon are seen as super valuable, but perch and suckerfish and things like that, or even catfish, were seen as trash. Lobster was seen as trash fish or trash seafood. Until 1910, in New York City, Rikers Island, as well as the other, the federal Sing Sing, the federal prison, they were feeding the prisoners lobster as kind of a punishment, saying this is the insect of the cockroach of the sea, is what they called it. And people got a taste for it. They just said, hey, this is pretty good. I like cockroach of the sea. But it's just a thing talking about basically like the unintended consequences. And if you agree with this, essentially you agree with critical race theory. And that's why I said it's going to be controversial, because it's saying that white guys made the rules. White guys had certain tastes. And even though they may not have meant to, they inherently warped, changed, and targeted certain fish. I mean, the bag limits, it's saying here, 43 states had unlimited bag limits for at least one of their native species of fish. In the remaining states, bag limits were between 16 and 50 native fish a day that weren't game fish. So that's basically just saying, oh yeah, kill whatever you want. Wholesale slaughter of the other fish, rather than having reasonable quotas and targets for what you could catch daily. So there's that. Now the next one is about hold on one sec. So the next one that's going to be controversial that we'll cover, and then there's one more after that, is that essentially in cichlids, let me open this, and we will see what we can see. We will see what we can find. Close, close, close. Close, close, close. Close your tabs out. Close your tabs out. Close, close, close. Close, close, close. Okay. Wait, that's not what we wanted. We wanted cease. That's still a handfish. I don't know why this is so hard. But let me get to that story again. Sorry, I lost it. Making my way back to you, babe, with a burning loving. I can't talk about it. It's a private matter. All right, let's see here. Okay, whatever. So those were the last story was basically about genes in cichlids, and the fact that cichlids in Lake Victoria, Lake Malawi, and Lake Tanganyika, they don't just have X and Y chromosomes. They have XY, they have V, they have W, and there may be more. There may be Z also. And so they were talking about how gender is not, or sex and gender. Gender is the outward expression, remember? Sex is the biological construction of the creature, and gender can be, you can have multiple genders, whereas sex in theory, there's maybe two, depending on who you ask, like male and female, or there's three, because there's in between also. And depending on who you ask, some people split that up, and there's 5 or 6 natural versions of that occur also. Just biologically speaking, it just can't be argued with, but that happen. But basically, it's just an interesting adaptation that they've been able to do, because it means that they've been able to, like when we talked about the bettas in captivity, we're able to, even the XX, so 2 female chromosome bettas, they were even able to have to grow gonads and to become males after they had had a hysterectomy of sorts for them. I guess that's what you'd call it with them still. But yeah, once they fix them, once you spay or neuter them. And so the ability to do that really, really allows them to evolve under hard circumstances where they're in a small pond or they're cut off from the rest of the population. Well, this little wing can continue because they're able to swap sex, gender assignments, things like that. And when they switch gender, that can change big time on a dime. Some males just color down and look like females because they don't want to fight. It's just evolutionarily not advantageous for these slower growing males to do that. Maybe they'll catch up a bit eventually, or maybe not. But it's just interesting how that works. And the fact that cichlids now, which we always have thought of as sort of the standard berry for the mom and dad fish that take care of their babies and their fry, that they have such a complex system. And we don't know if it's because of the hybridization or because they've been alone so long in the lake or what's going on. But just super interesting that the chromosomes don't have to do with the sex/gender of the fish. Yet again, it's like that frog that has 6 chromosomes, but only 2 sexes and 2 genders for all we could see. Rico Stan, $5 super chat. First of the night, I appreciate you. You are my Rico Suave. Thank you so much. Elbow bump. Yes. Oh, just kinked my neck. I need to be careful. I'm getting old. Let's see here. So then the last subject we were going to cover tonight on fish news that you can't use, but it's interesting, was we were going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Now I have to do things. You guys are making me do things. Come from the land of the ice and snow with the midnight sun and the hot springs blow. Community tab. There we go. All right. So we have got boy, it's hard for me to read with the bright light shining on me and then trying to read the screen. It's not fun. What is this one? Okay, so the last article that I wanted to touch on is they have figured out, drum roll please, they have figured out how fish fins work. Let me copy. Making copies. Paste. Boom. Let's hope that worked. Okay, all right. Giggity goo. All right, so the new study, they found how, okay, so this guy, this engineer, he wanted to know how fish work, how they swim, and how they're able to have fins that can be ripped off and they still are able to maneuver and work and stuff. They have such redundancy built into them, but yet they don't have necessarily, a lot of them don't have blood flow. They don't have moving parts. They don't have tendons, muscles, or tissue in their actual fins anywhere. Like in this goldfish, they've got the dorsal rays or the fin rays, whichever fin, and then rays, pectoral rays here. But those rays are attached to a muscle pivot point, right? Wherever it depends differently for these. The caudal peduncle rays are attached one by one back by the very back of the tail. These ones will be up top, and they can't do too much with these top ones usually other than pull them straight upright by constricting this muscle downward, pulling it down and back underneath the spine area. But with the other ones, they found what happens is basically what they're hoping to do with this is design better aircrafts, lighter aircrafts. They're trying to make stuff stronger, more resilient to all these things. Okay, so what it looks like though is, so you've got the fin, and pretend this is the dorsal or the pectoral fins up in the chest. At the pivot point or attachment point, all the rays go there. Well, there's a muscle and a tendon assigned to each one. And even though the whole fin is either cartilaginous or it is flesh, so it's either going to be super soft or super rigid. And even though it could be rigid and not need blood flow in it, doesn't need muscles in it, if it gets nipped, it's not going to cause the fish to bleed out. It's a pretty interesting way. It would be like if our legs had no blood or tendons or muscles in them, and that our hips just moved our legs just by going like this, like one of those little wind-up walking guys. But it's just interesting because all the different fins on all the different fish, they all work like this. So it was a system that evolved, and very well. And with more rays, you get more fine control. But when you move one ray up and one down, you're pulling the fin taut, and then it can do it in sequential orders and things like that. And so they're looking into that for planes. They're looking into it for helicopters and other nanotechnology drones and things too, as well as they said body armor. I don't know what they mean by that. They don't go into detail, but I just thought that that was kind of an interesting little genetic engineering or reverse bioengineering, reverse biomimicry. Very cool to me. Yeah, I do need sunglasses. Sunglasses would definitely help with this freaking bright light. And then trying to read the little font far away. J-Rad, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing? Good to see you. Fish streams here, fishy, rainbow fish talk. Good to see everybody. Well, I gotta get up and moving and grooving and shaking. Kansas City, hey. Get a couple last things into bags, and then meet some sketchy people in a parking lot and be like, hey man, you want that poco stemmen or that udwigia? I got that rotala, and slang it for the auction coming up tonight. So I got to get ready, but I hope you guys enjoyed fish news. You can't use, but it's pretty interesting. So it's recent events in fish hobby, in the aquarium hobby, and in marine and freshwater fish biology, ecology, engineering, science, you name it, sociology, archaeology. So I hope you guys had fun tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the new member, Alexander. Good to see you, buddy. Give me a call sometime, or I'll call you. I know I keep saying that. It's just crazy busy life schedule lately, and then I forget, honestly, or I'm up at some bizarre hour. Oh my goodness, not again. On vacation this week, so I can't make a meeting this week. Have fun, bring back stories. Thank you so much, Alex. Again, thank you, Alexander. Man, dang. What do you need? Do you need my firstborn, my soul? I mean, holy, woo! Thank you so much. That's a huge super chat. That will go a long way. Also, if I want to do this, the tank idea of doing a purple, black tank, purple, red, black, silver, metallic, all those colors tank. But thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for being awesome, for asking good questions, for hanging out here. And if you guys want, it's a lot of plants, or it's like 2 Logonandra Bolde, bleeding heart silver. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that crazy. But wow, thank you so much. Seriously. But I hope you guys like fish news you're not going to use. And if you guys have something else interesting, something to add to that, I hope that you guys drop it in the comments in the doobly-doo. Share it if you enjoy it. If you hate it, don't share it. That would be weird. And hit that liggity like button on the wiggity way out, because crisscross will make you jump. I got to get going to my local fish club meeting. Starts. Oh boy, here we go. I got to get going. I got to be there in 30 minutes or something. So gotta get going. But Randy Roman, have a good one. I see you popped in here too. Lots of you in here. I can't name everybody tonight, unfortunately, but you are all so appreciated. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you. How many of you are going back and watching old videos? Means a ton to me. It helps them get seen again by new faces. And a lot of those videos I'm really proud of. So I appreciate that immensely when someone goes back, finds a topic that's relevant that they needed to know about, and they watch the video, and it's a name of somebody like you folks who are here with us right now, interacting with the new stuff. Am I going to be back on the Aquarium Guys podcast anytime soon? Very, very, very possible. In fact, yeah, Robs and I have had an idea for a show, maybe a series of shows, like a mini series, made for YouTube, made for TV, game show basically we have, which is be disagreeing about different things in the fish hobby and talking about pros and cons of them. But yes, I should shut up and leave, as Dragon Lair just mentioned. George, I gotta go. I love you though, buddy. Good to see you. And I got to check out what you're up to, what you're breeding now soon on your channel. So see you later, Aquaballs too. But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, mods. Alexander, thank you so very much for your kindness. It continues, and it's gone to such good use. Just polishing things up around here, and yeah, it's allowed me to do that type of housekeeping stuff, continue going, which is great, you know, not die of heat stroke, and just, yeah, thank you. So I got to get going, but I will talk to everybody later. Have a good one, and feel free to continue chatting in the comments and whatnot. I don't know if Bentley's on tonight. He's running the auction, so I'm assuming not. I think so. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.